Alright, so this is Kevin Zamir Goeke, and I don't know if I pronounced that right, but this is his work from Level Up, so I just thought I would give a video critique on it. Looking at it, first of all, the idea of it is that you're basically in some sort of a forest area, that type of thing. And that being said, I think a little bit more of your background showing up, especially if you're going for kind of that mid-tone, or like the daylight aspect. So putting some of that stuff in there would probably help a little bit more. Also, the here. So let me just do this, and starting off with some simple things. Okay, so you have these people here, like so, and you have these lines here. So I kind of get the idea that this is a line of people coming to this. So that being said, what you probably want to do is mix up your landscape a little bit more so that it looks like they are flowing down to it, this is a good visual line right here that leads up to this, and I think that's a pretty good idea. But what I would say is, if you're going to do this, put a little bit more um, bend and twist, and maybe even layered secondary look type of thing, um, and continue your people down. You know, if they're going over the hill, put them over the hill, and I think that's one of the big things too. The next thing I would say is your perspective's okay. It's the standard 1 point or 2 point perspective here, but kind of watch in some areas. Because if this is going straight over, your horizon line goes back this way. So I see your visual point here. So you have a vanishing point here, which is okay. Um, but the issue that you have is that when you start getting up here, it gets kind of wonky. Um, so up here, what I would do is make sure that this is a visual highlight. Like make sure this angles down a little bit more. This goes back a little bit more. It's probably going to be tighter, especially back here. Um, you want more of that angle on there. That's just because you put such a tight perspective in there. So those are things that I would say right off the bat is just tweak that perspective just to get it a little bit. The next thing is what I would tell you to do is your background gets really, really fuzzy. And I think what you want is you want more of that tree aspect to pop out a little bit more. So what I would say is get a little bit more clarity on your branches, and things like that. So pull this out. Uh, if the tree branches are coming up like so, you know, don't be afraid to kind of bring them up a little bit further. And it's okay to have the hidden edges as you blend things together, but you've got this blue highlights here, laying over it, and you can kind of put those blue highlights to kind of give you that idea that the edge is there. Same thing over here to keep that blue highlight going on. The other aspect is this from a visual standpoint, this kind of looks almost cut off. And if that's your intention, that's fine. But if you want to almost keep this going, and I would even split it here and here to give you give you more of that concept. So while your edge here is blending out, don't be afraid to continue that branch here, even if it disappears. Continue that branch and stuff. Um, Going on. Now, the other aspect is this here feels feels awkward. And what you want to do is kind of push in. I would almost hide this and or fade it out because it just feels like it's coming from the center. If that's the case, what I would do is put another taller building up here, kind of like the tree house on the split branches, and then that gives you a whole new light source to play with, um, to kind of go on that. And then back here, this area back here is very um, this whole area right here is very vague, and it's okay to be vague, but I think the big thing is if you want if you want this in a forest area, you want to define those branches a little bit more. Just something like this with a little bit of leaf clusters around them. It doesn't have to be subtle, but I think just more definition in the background would help you out quite a bit. So those are things that I would tell you to take care of. The other aspect is these statues here in the background, right here, oops, right here, and right here. If they're people, then the scale is completely off. But if they are statues, what I would say then is I would tell you right off the bat to just go larger. Um, you know, exaggerate exaggerate that whole aspect because here that looks a lot better than it's much more prevalent, it's much more interesting. So those are things that I would tell you to do kind of um, right off the top of your head. All right.